We're on the heels of a ridiculous debate involving Representative Ilhan Omar and accusations that she is anti-Semitic simply because she had the audacity to criticize the behavior of the Israeli government specifically. Now, following that, Steve King, Representative Steve King, who has said all sorts of racist things throughout his career, but particularly after Trump's election, is doing a town hall and he gets asked about, his white supremacy. And he still has a hard time condemning white supremacy. Case in point, the video you're about to watch.
Do you think a white society is superior to a non-white?
I don't have an answer for that. That's so hypothetical. America is not a white society. It's never been a completely white society. We came here and joined the Native Americans that were here many times, the numbers greater than ours. I've long said that a baby can be lifted out of a cradle anywhere in the world and brought into any home in America, whatever the color of the folks in that household, and they can be raised to be as American as any other.
Okay, so that's the easiest question in the world. Do you think a white society is superior to a non-white society? The easy answer is no, I don't think it's superior. I believe that all humans are equal, and whether I can go into detail. You don't need to go into detail because it's so simple. No, I don't think it's whites are superior, right? But you can go into details about geopolitical situations and why different countries and different areas and geographies might develop at different rates at different times, et cetera, et cetera. But you don't have to just say
no. I don't think that.
Okay,
and it's a layup. Right? It's the easiest thing to do, especially given the criticism that you've just received, the fact that you've been kicked off of all of these committees, right? It's so easy to do it. I don't understand why he has such a hard time. And then like the whitewashing of American history in his answer. Like, yeah, we were just, we came in, we were living alongside the Native Americans, everything was so great. No, that's not how it worked. We all know that.
Yeah, and he said, in case you didn't hear it clearly in the video, you can go back and rewind it. I don't have an answer for that. That's so hypothetical. So you think it is possible that a white society would be superior? I mean, come on, we're still having a conversation. And look, are the Democrats right now working on a resolution in the House to condemn Steve King? No, the Democrats. The reason Anna brought up Ilhan Omar in the beginning is Democrats love to punch themselves in the face, right? They twisted her words. She said, I don't want to have a double allegiance to any country, right? And they said, are you saying Jews have a double allegiance? No, she didn't say that. She said, I don't want to have a double allegiance to any country, including Saudi Arabia, et cetera, right? But Steve King says something incredibly clear. Well, it's it's a hypothetical. I don't know why society movies. But look, we're gonna give you other stuff. He constantly talks about how we can't rebuild our civilization with other people's babies. Mm-hmm. Well, what's complicated about that? This guy is as clear a white supremacist as you could possibly find, but yet there's no House resolution condemning him. Well, what are we waiting for? I mean, even Liz Cheney, the number 3 Republican in the House, what did Cheney has to tell you? You've been monstrous. You might be over the top monstrous. Even she says, I think he should resign. Even Mitch McConnell says he should resign. House Democrats, where are you? I know you love to punch yourself in the face. How about you actually attack real racists? Racists. And if you're a right winger and you want to get triggered by it, have at it, Hoss. Okay, if you're going, well, I don't know, maybe white society is better. That means you're a white supremacist. It's an absurd notion that any one race would be superior to all other races. It's preposterous. And if you don't realize it's preposterous, yes, you are a racist and a bigot.
Now, the woman who asked the question is from a small town in Iowa, population 5,000 people. And I just want to give her some love. Her name's Mary Lavelle. And after seeing what happened with the mass shootings in mosques in New Zealand, she was worried about Representative King's rhetoric and how it could potentially fuel, violent acts here in the United States. And so she brought this up and she was dissatisfied by his answer for obvious reasons. But I also want to go to another portion of this event where he was asked about this notorious photo. He took a picture in his office and he had the Confederate flag. And it was posted all over the internet. And so someone asked him about that as well. And here's what he had to say.
Reporters not invited to ask questions. but we did.
Congressman, before you say your goodbyes, I just want to give you a chance to explain the posting on Facebook, which talked about red states having 8 trillion bullets in case of another civil war. Which
I think it's interesting that nobody here asked that question.
Yeah,
but
can you explain why you posted
anybody
it,
here
though?
that's interested in that question, it was this, that I found out about it being posted yesterday morning at the same time, and I thought that it had been taken down about 8:30. It wasn't until a few hours later. It's the only people that care about that are national news media. Nobody has raised the issue around
Well, you
here.
posted it,
And
sir.
so,
Why
no,
did
we're
you
done.
post it?
I've answered your question, and we weren't going to take any questions from press, but I answered your question.
We care about it.
Okay, then I've answered the question.
You look at that page.
I found out that was posted yesterday morning, and I don't manage that. I'll say it again. I don't manage that Facebook page, and I could control it, but I don't manage it. So I wasn't aware that was posted until yesterday morning, and I was also under the understanding that it had been taken down right away. It wasn't. I wish it had never gone up.
All right, so let me apologize and clarify something. So he's posted so much or so many Confederate photos and content on his page that I wasn't sure if this was referring to the Confederate flag photo or if this was referring to the other Confederate thing that he posted recently. So it was about the other thing, and let me give you the details on that. He faced scrutiny after a post on his Facebook page speculated who would win a second civil war between red states and blue states. And it also had the caption that read as follows: folks keep talking about another civil war. One side has about 8 trillion bullets while the other side doesn't know.
Doesn't know what bathroom it wants to go to. Talk of a civil war, that's really great. Do I believe him that other people might be posting, like his staffers might be posting on his Facebook page? Yeah. But he's the kind of guy who would hire staffers that would post about a civil war where the red states murder everyone in the blue states. Is there any chance that a progressive would have hired a staffer like that? Probably not. And by the way, do I take him at his word? No, I do not. Is it possible he posted it? Sure, it's possible. But that talk is very dangerous as we showed you a clip on the Young Turks, Steve Bannon going around doing a tour in the country. Now, one of the women said, I never thought I'd say this, but I want a dictator, and it's Trump. And Steve Bannon applauded. Everybody on stage sat there, all conservatives. No one objected to that kind of language. Donald Trump is talking about, I have very tough guys on my side, and if things get bad, they'll act very tough. So there's all this nonstop threats of violence, extreme violence, civil war. And they don't mean politically, they mean literally. On the Republican side, Steve King encourages it. And so, and yet he's still in Congress and the march and the band plays on.
That's exactly right. And it's not just what he's done recently or the way that he answered these questions during this event. It's just his history of saying questionable things, racist things over and over again. The statement that he made to the New York Times that initially got him in trouble with the Republican Party and got him kicked off of his committees was this: white nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization. How did that language become offensive? He said that. And then, there were all sorts of videos where he talks about the Dreamers and how, no, don't be fooled by the Dreamers. Some of them are actually very dangerous. You remember this video?
For everyone who's a valedictorian, there's another 100 out there that they weigh 130 pounds and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert.
All right, I gotta just address a couple of things that are over the top stupid by Steve King. So Steve King, they're dreamers. They're already in this country. They came to this country when they were young. That's why they're dreamers. They didn't have to walk across the border carrying marijuana. That doesn't make any sense, you idiot. If they walked across the border today and you made that charge, it would still be preposterous, cantaloupe calves, etc. But at least there'd be some rational nexus in one part of this. They're already here, all right. And then I can answer his question. When did white supremacists become offensive? I don't know, when they lynched people, maybe? When the white supremacists put on hoods and burned crosses in people's front lawn and then went and found them and strung them up on trees and murdered them and then burned their bodies alive and then took pieces of the body home for memorabilia. Maybe that's when it became offensive. And if you can't figure out when white supremacy became offensive, if you can't figure out that no race is superior to another race, well, then we have our answer. So I'm only asking one thing, because Democrats are never gonna do anything, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, when do you take action, right? The Republicans, come on. The Republicans, the main reason the Republicans are mad at Steve King is because he's saying it out loud. They're like, hey, we're supposed to dog whistle. You're getting carried away with the Trump thing. Remember, the Southern strategy is we appeal to racists by using coded language. We don't just come out and say we're for white supremacy. Steve, you're giving up the game. You're letting everybody know what's going on. So they're not gonna do anything real. So, I mean, they're like, wow, we took him off of committees. This guy's in the United States Congress. So all I'm asking is, when someone asks if Steve King is a racist or says he clearly is, because it's all over the record based on his own comments, can you just not cry about it for a second? I know the right wing loves to cry. Like, hey, white supremacists lynching people, not a problem. Steve King being called a racist for saying that he doesn't see anything wrong with white supremacy, that's a problem. How could you call him a racist? How could you call him a racist? Or just go cry in your own corner. That's all I'm asking. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.